When you're comparing yourself to other people, it's because you see some part of yourself in them, right? So recognizing that, now when I find myself comparing myself to someone else, I just get to recognize that they're living the life that I'm gonna have someday, right? So notice when it's making you feel good and motivated versus when it's triggering you. And it's not a bad thing if it's triggering you, because our triggers are always a beautiful indicator of somewhere where we just have work to do. So then you get to dig in and figure out where it's coming from. I no longer make it mean anything about me if I'm not there yet. And I used to attach so much meaning to like, well, she's there and she did it in this amount of time and that's how long I've had my business, so why am I not there yet? And it's just a waste of time, honestly. It's really just not helpful. We're all on our own paths and things are aligning in your favor all the time in the exact timing that they're supposed to, right? Like their success is not taking away from mine. What they have doesn't take anything away from what I get to have. And just seeing it as an indicator of the direction that you're going and validation of your dreams of like, yes, this is possible, this is fully available for you too, then that's where it can become a good thing and become a motivator and not become something that is holding you back and making you feel like shit. We're also all different people, right? And things are gonna unfold for us and work for us in different ways, right? So like how I was saying before, where my story was that I wasn't making a lot of money and I couldn't pay my bills, and then I worked on a lot of internal shit and worked on my mindset and started making more money. That had to be my story so that I could teach that to other people, right? Whereas somebody else might have a story of they just quit their job and started their business and started making a lot of money right from day one. And like, that's great. That's their experience for a reason, because they have a different purpose on this earth of like the lessons that they needed to learn and teach to other people. Those were not my lessons, and that's not my story. And I could sit here and like be mad about it and upset at the fact that I didn't just make a ton of money from day one, but like, why? I wouldn't be where I am today if that was my story. And so even if you are comparing your year one to someone else's year one, it's still, it's not meant to be the same. It is also not a fucking competition. There's only one you. There's only one of all of us. And you're here for a fucking reason. And your path is not going to be someone else's, but that doesn't mean you're behind. We're all always exactly where we're supposed to be at all times. And things are always unfolding and working out in our favor, even when it feels like it's not. Unfollow, mute people if necessary, right? Like there's definitely people who I've muted because everything they posted would trigger me, but also that doesn't mean just bypass the inner work of like, I'm gonna mute whatever triggers me so that I don't have to deal with the triggers, right? It's like, still do the work, still dig into why does this trigger me? What is this rubbing up against in me? Why don't I believe I can have that someday? See them as an example, not as competition, not as a reflection of what you don't have, but instead a reflection of what you get to have and where you're going, right?